Om Sadhashiva-Samarambham Vyasa-Shankara-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam Shruti-Smriti-Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-Padam Shankaram Loka-Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra-Bhasha-Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah-Punah Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we are looking at verse number 5 of the text Jiva Yatra. So we'll read the text once, the mantra once, then we'll go through the meaning one by one. Astikyam dhridamoolameva manujaha. Astikyam dhridamoolameva manujaha. Sampadayat vaditaha. Sampadayat vaditaha. Karmacharayutastatascha bhavatu. Karmacharayutastatascha bhavatu. Swargadi bhogechaya. Swargadavapi chakramena ghamito. Swargadavapi chakramena ghamito. Nairashaye mevastire. Nairashaye mevastire. Nitya nitya vicharane swadikrutam. Nitya nitya vicharane swadikrutam. Tattvam samanvichatu. Tattvam samanvichatu. So, astikyam dridam mula eva manujaha. So, manujaha here means the human beings. The human beings are the one is referred here. There is no other people referred here. So this text is for human beings or the people who are chosen to be following the path of mukshutvam or mukshunam hitarthaya. Yesterday we saw mukshunam hitarthaya tattabodham abhidhiyate. So for the mumukshus only this is prescribed. And what are the qualities required? First of all, one has to earn. Sampadayati. So sampadayati means one has to earn. So one has to work for it, one has to earn for it before anything else. So you have to be preparing yourself or adequately prepared. So if you're not making effort right now, you should be making the effort. So it is not possible for a person or any person to get 100% or get all the qualifications required. So there is a very wrong idea that Vedanta prescribes very hard rules for someone to be eligible for study. In fact, it is not. See, some of the Matham or the Matadhipatigal, they have this view because they have the view because it is not easy for anyone to follow this practice. So they are always saying that you follow karma. So you see the word there, karma chara yutas tatascha, second line. So they say karma acharanam. That means what you do karma and you acharati, you follow. What is your dharma? So whatever is your dharma, if you're a Brahmana, if you're Vaishya, Sudra, whichever is there, you follow the dharma and you follow the anushtana, the karma required. So they always say that jnanam is not for you and it is jnanam only for sannyasis. or the people who have become wise people. But how will you become a sannyasi? See, it's a cash situation of cash 22. You want to become a sannyasi, but you do not know have the qualification. If you want to have the qualification, you are told you cannot have the qualification. So where do you get it? It's a problem. So you can never become mumukshu. You can never become moksha at all. That is why in Arshavadya Parampara, we do not have this philosophy of saying that only such people should be taught. It is said that a person should be taught only if he is interested. That is true. But if a person comes voluntarily and asks to be taught, we do not say no to the person. We do not say that you are not qualified, go and do this. So if a person is capable, he will attend, he will be able to grasp. If he finds it too difficult, he will drop out of the class. Right. So Vedanta takes care of it. We do not have to do anything great about it. So there's always, people make effort. And the effort, they make it, but the effort is not in the right direction. Sometimes enough preparatory mind is not there, so they find it very hard. So they drop out after some time. So the automatic filtration is there. So only a handful of people will finally graduate. Correct. So it is because the course of the process of assimilation of all these things is very tough, very difficult. That's why it says here, Manujaha Sampadayati Aditaha. So one has to, Aditaha means a beginning, or one has to foremost. Foremost, one has to earn. Sampadayati Manujaha. What you should earn? Astikyam. Right? Astikyam means what? Faith. Astika buddhi and na astika buddhi. So asti buddhi means what? Existence is there. Bhagavan is there, and there is consciousness, or there is the substance from which everything comes into being, and from that everything goes back into also. So something cannot appear here from nothing. Right? So there has to be a truth. So when we analyze the truth, we always ask the question, why I am here? Why I was born? What am I doing here? What is the universe here? What is the role of my connection to the universe here? Will this be there all the time? Will I be there all the time? What happens if I go away or if I die? Will I come back another Janma? All these questions are there to be answered. Right? So a person comes to study Vedanta only when a person has come to that level of understanding. Only when there is a desire in a person to know this. Unless the person is interested in knowing this, he will never come. You may teach him, you may tell him many things, he will not be interested, because it does not gel with his own preparatory process. So one has to have some preparatory process. One should have done some amount of Shravanam before, or there should be some Purva Janma samskara should have been there. Then only some Vasana will be coming there. And that is what makes you try in this Janma. That's what I say, Astikyam. And it is just not enough to have faith. One must have Dridam, means very, very firm faith. See, the faith should not be temporary faith. You cannot take Vedanta to be a secondary means of knowledge. So there are two types of knowledge, primary means and secondary means. So Vedanta becomes secondary to us in our life, then it will be of no use to us, because it will be like a time pass. So if you don't have anything to do, or if your life is, there is some spot vacant in a day or in a week, so you don't know what to do, they say, let's go attend some class, Vedanta class. So it's like a fill in the blank. So where there's one activity or one time slot or particular time slot is available, and you just want to give it a shot. It is not like that. So Vedanta never works like that. It will never work for also the person who is following this method. Because let me make it very clear, because it is not a quick fast food solution. It is not going to give you results immediately. It will give you results, but you'll have to work for it. You'll have to be consistent. You'll have to be regular. And it works, but forever it works. Once it works, there is no going back and there's no turning back from the process. There cannot be any more doubts. There cannot be any more confusion or delusion. But it takes time. Right? That is where Vedanta tests to see whether whether the person who is studying is consistent. Adhikaritvam we talked about yesterday, right? Adhikari, or who is the Adhikari who is eligible to study Vedanta is also determined by the Veda itself. So as and when a person keeps studying, the person keeps putting effort. Right? So Dridam Moolam. So only with firm commitment. So Moolam when you say means what Veda. So Moolam means Moola Pathanam when you say, it means study of the Vedas. So one has to have firm faith in the Vedas. So when you say primary knowledge, primary source and secondary source, our eyes are the primary source, correct? Our eyes, ears, the sense of touch, etc. are the primary source. The secondary source is called Anumanam or Arthapattihi, inference. So inference is called secondary source. See, without seeing what, really, one can infer. He could be like this, it could be like that. How wrong we can be? We can be totally wrong also, right? Because we are not seeing anything, we have not heard anything, pratyaksham, we have not seen anything. We have just heard from someone. So, when we are using the primary source, we are very confident, correct? We have absolute trust, we have absolute confidence in using the primary source of our eyes and ears, etc. There we do not believe in inference. We may have an idea, but we say, no, I don't think I'll trust that inference. I will actually go and verify myself. Even if you want to verify, you'll walk down, you'll go and validate and make sure it is correct. Unless you see with your eyes, you will not believe it. Otherwise, it will be wrong conclusion also. Same way here also, Vedanta should never be your secondary source of knowledge. It has to be the primary source of knowledge. That means Veda Pramanam or Veda Shastram should be the Moolam. So whatever is in the Vedas is what I will follow. If it is not in the Vedas, if it is not said in the Vedas, I will not do that. Right? So that brings us to the next line. It's called Karma Acharaha. Right? So Karma Acharaha Yutaha means karma means action. And here there are two types of people described here. Here it refers to Karma Yoga. So when you say karma, action done by the person. Now a person may or may not have the qualification. A person who studies Vedanta without having the necessary qualities or is working towards necessary qualities is following Karma Yoga. So he is following Karma Yoga because he is a Grahastha, he or she is a Grahastha, and he or she is involved in the day-to-day mundane activity of the life. Nothing can be left. So all the karmas are being done. At the same time, the requisite qualification required for is not fully understood. So it's a work in progress. So, but he has started studying Vedanta, he or she. So most of the people are in that boat. Most people means like out of the so many people are there, you can count people will be in that boat where they start studying something and they continue for some time. They will go, they'll come back. They will drop out, they'll come back, they will restart, they will take a break. It's all possible. So these are all the people who are in the Karma Yoga board, because the qualities required or the requirements are not very clearly understood by the person. Then the second category of people who already have the qualification or who already have developed the sadhana chatushtayam or the vairagyam, samadhanam, mumukshutvam, titiksha, everything is already there. He or she has developed those qualities, and the person is pursuing Vedanta, studying Vedanta, he is pursuing Jnana Yoga. So he pursues Jnana Yoga because he or she has already crossed that level of understanding and is developed Vairagyam, dispassion, Aditya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha, Samadhanam, Titiksha, Uparama. All the qualities are been developed already. I mean, he or she has got firm understanding and is well settled. So now the person is equipped and he is now studying only Vedanta. Pretty much Vedanta is a source for him or her. So such a person is supposed to be following the Jnana Yoga or Jnana Margam. Because Karma Yoga is already there. See, Karma Yoga is already following. It's not that he's not doing. But he has gone, Karma Yoga now has converted into Jnana Yoga. So that there are people who are doing activities without the qualification, they are on the path of Karma Yoga. Now he says, Karma Acharaha. Acharati means follow. So one has to follow the injunctions laid in the Vedas. So what are the injunctions laid in the Vedas? So we have Nitya Karma, which is the people who are doing karmas or actions, they have Nitya Karma. That is daily activities. So Nitya Karma means if you are brahmachari, if you don't have Punal or Upanayanam, then your Nitya Karma will just be worshipping the Bhagavan in the morning, offering something to the Bhagavan, and then living a clean life. Brahmacharyam, following Brahmacharyam in following Acharati. Brahma Acharati Brahmacharyam. The one who follows Brahmacharyam or celibacy is called Brahmachari. So he is following that. It's very strict about it. In fact, then after that, so then when you get into, after Punal, you get married, you become, see, Brahmachari also is possible. Initially, when this person starts, he is just a ordinary boy. Then he is indebted to Upanayanam, right? So Upanayanam is done for the person. Then he becomes eligible to study Vedas. He becomes eligible or qualified to study the Vedas, right? It's called Dvijaha, twice born, right? So Dvijaha means twice born, because second birth is given by the Vedas. He becomes cleansed, he becomes purified by the Vedas, by the Brahmopadesham, which is given by the father. The father gives the Brahmopadesham, and then the father becomes the first guru, Prathama Guru. So there are rituals given in the Nitya Karma, you have to follow this. So for the people who do not have this kind of ritual system, etc., there, one can follow the Pancha Mahabhuta Yajna. So Pancha Mahayajna is there. So 5 different types of oblations. So Pancha Mahayajna. What are those? First is called Deva Yajna. So Deva Yajna means offering our oblations to the Devas or to the Ishvara. So why do we offer? Because the entire cosmos, the entire universe is supported by these 5 elements. So each of this, our Indriyam also, like, is protected by the Bhagavan. So they offer you rain, they offer you sun, grains, earth on which is there, heat. All of them are given unconditionally. They do not have any condition about giving to anybody. Anyone who is living in this earth is eligible to receive air. Anyone is eligible to receive water. It's a different thing that we are charging for air and water. There's actually a new, somewhere I heard somebody told me that they are now charging for COVID air also. So what they do is, there's a new philosophy called COVID-free air. So they supply the people who are suffering from, or this kind of problems, because the air they are breathing is not clean. So they capture the air, or they take this air, purify it with some mechanical thing. They take the